Hugo from Ichiban Painting, and today I'll be showing you a tutorial on how to apply pigments and do weathering with pigments as rust and dirt on tracks and stuff like that. So here I have the project that I've been working on recently, which is called Land Raider. It's almost finished. I still have some finishing touch to do on the golds and stuff like that, but it's to the point that you're doing your weathering. Weathering should be done at the end of a project. So basically what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be putting some soot here, so black pigments here on the vents. I'm going to be doing some rust on the pipes here, and I'm going to put some dirt on the tracks. So basically the way you should think about a model is that you should paint it all and do the normal paint job. Then after that you should go in and start doing your scratches, like I don't know if you guys can see it well. Hold on. So you should do your scratches on the miniature. Then after that you can do some oil spills, or like you have right now here. And then the last part of the weathering process should be the pigments. But you need to do that at the end of a project, not at the beginning of it. So basically what I'm going to be starting by doing the tracks, doing the dirt on the tracks. So what I'm going to be using for this is Vallejo pigments, and this one is burnt umber. So this is going to be what I'm going to be doing for that. What you need basically is your pigments. So here I have dark burnt umber, I have carbon black, I have dark red orc, I have burned sienna, and these are the pigments I'm going to be using for the weathering. And then you're going to be needing some alcohol that you can buy at your drugstore and for fixing it. I'll be using the airbrush to fix it, but you can use a brush. I'll explain to you when I'm to that point the differences. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open your pigment, take a big brush that's clean and not wet. And this is a dirty process, but what you want to do is that you want to apply the pigments to your areas where you want to have the weathering effect on. So it's basically really simple process, but you do need to be careful. Like you see, I just blow on the surface, because for this one I don't mind having some of it go on the side, but on this area normally they wouldn't have so much dirt or mud that would be going on this area. Normally it would be here. So when I'm gonna go here now, that's where I'm gonna go more on the side of the tank instead of just the tracks for this area. I don't put weathering on the bottom of the tank because first of all nobody sees it, and then also because the pigments they tend to fall off. So if you put some pigments on the under, you might have a dirty surface if you're leaving your tank to be somewhere on display and stuff like that. Where you're gonna have your display thing, it's gonna be dirty. So just apply pigments where naturally there will be some dust, or not dust, but whether I should say more dirt. And here we have the door, which is not finished, I just realized, but it's gonna be alright. So the bottom of the door, and then I'm going to be doing the door itself, because technically it would be hitting the floor, so it should have some dirt and dust on it, because this is a Land Raider, right? So now I applied on the tracks. So basically what I want to do is I want to fix it. So I'm going to take my alcohol, I'm going to open my pot, and I'm going to put it inside my airbrush. Alcohol, if you have a good airbrush, it shouldn't affect your airbrush. And I'm just going to start my airbrush. Sorry. You know, for little details like that, I use my my small airbrush, because the big one, when you have a big airbrush, it needs to start and fill up the tank. So having a small one will help you. Then I just want to take my alcohol and shoot it on to where I put the pigments. So the alcohol is gonna set the pigment in place. You can do this with a brush. Like I said, I like to use the airbrush because the airbrush is more precise, meaning that when you use your brush, the thing that happens sometimes is that you will have some brush strokes, and you will have to tap it in, and it might pull off. So using the airbrush will give you that thing where it's smooth and really nice finish. The only problem with the airbrush is, since you're blowing in air on it, it might remove more pigment. So yeah, you will have to do it 2 times instead of doing it, you know, like 1 time. So for example, if I would apply my pigments and then I would go in with my brush, I would, you know, the big pool of pigments where I would put it in would stay there. Instead of with the airbrush, is gonna blow a little bit away, so you're gonna have to go back in. But the airbrush ensures that you have a nice smooth finish towards your pigments. So basically, that's the technique that you do to weather your area. And when you're gonna be doing it on the side of the tank, then you're gonna be putting it on the tracks inside here and on the side of the body here, which would be naturally dirty for the tank being moving. And you want to apply some. When you do the rust, you want to apply a mix of dark red and burnt amber to simulate rust, and then the soot, which is going to be the black, the carbon is going to be on the area where there's the exhaust fans and everything. But it's basically that. It's not really a complicated process, but it should be done at the end, because normally that's you know, like once everything is finished painting, you apply it, because you want to make sure that all your layers of paint are matching and are going to be under the weathering. You don't want to go back in and paint after your weathering is done, especially for the pigments. So I hope that you saw everything in the video and that answer your question about how to do weathering. If you do have any questions, just please feel free to ask, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. And I would really appreciate if you like the video, just click on the button that says like, and subscribe if you have a YouTube account, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.